Welcome to the City of Joliet City Council meeting for today, Tuesday, November 21st, 2023, with the Honorable Mayor Terry D'Arcy presiding.
The invocation tonight will be read by Pastor Jacob Garcia, Crossroads Christian Church, 2312 Essington Road, after which he will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please bow with me for a word of prayer. God, thank you for all the blessings. God's the ones that we recognize and all the ones that we're unaware of. We ask a blessing on everyone that's here tonight, and we want to specifically lift up the leaders and community members as they gather to make decisions for the great city of Joliet. God, may they use their expertise and discernment for the benefit of the people. May they do their best to be impartial and neutral as they consider each matter that is placed before them. We also ask your blessing on this meeting and for our mayor and for all of our city officials. May you give them wisdom to lead and the ability to collaborate and cooperate with one another. God, we place this agenda before you, and we ask that you bless the great city of Joliet. God, bless all those that live here, those that work here, and God, may all of us seek justice, love mercy, and walk humbly. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Please say the Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Begin with roll call. Mayor D'Arcy.
Here.
Councilman Cardenas.
Here.
Councilman Clement.
Here.
Councilman Guerrero.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Here.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Here.
First tonight is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
Second.
Been motion seconded to approve. Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye. Councilwoman
Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Mayor D'Arcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is citizens to be heard on agenda items. Is there anyone present that would like to speak on an agenda item other than the public hearing?
I've been complaining about Center Point for a long time since it came into effect. And high upgoing effects just keep on happening, and Center Point, of course, is not willing to change anything or to help anything to improve the situation. I made a list, it's a big list of all the lies and everything and misconceptions and things that have happened ever since Center Point came to Joliet in 2007 and predicted everything to become part of Joliet in 2008. You know, the biggest lie of all of them was the first thing they ever said out of the words out of their mouth was anything they were going to do was not going to change, alter, or affect anybody's lifestyle. And we know how much it has affected my lifestyle, especially. When you lose your mother and have all the things and you can't sleep anymore, that is big. In other words, the trucks would not be going on Laraway Road because they said the trucks would be going out designated route, out to Arsenal Road, out to that new interchange at I-55 and Arsenal Road. Of course, they ain't been doing that. And new Center Point says they want to be good neighbors. Well, wrong. How can you be good neighbors when you're calling, you're complaining about stuff and they don't want to do anything, or they ignore you, or they slap you with lawsuits because they say anybody could call Center Point. When I call Center Point, I get threatened with lawsuits. And the shopping mall. Remember when it went before 2007, before the city approved of this thing in 2008, that Center Point said they were going to make Joliet a shopping mall over there by I-80 and I-55. But after they got the approval for the Union Pacific Intermodal and start their Joliet Center Point thing, they first dropped the shopping mall. Cause I asked Mike Henson about that, where's the shopping mall gonna come? Oh, we decided we're not gonna do it now. The property taxes were brought up too. People complain about, they asked about the property taxes were gonna be affected by Centerpoint spent all these millions of dollars on all the land acquisitions. Centerpoint and Joliet said, oh no, the property taxes will not change, it won't affect our property taxes. Well, wrong, property taxes keep going up. Every time a developer comes in and buys land, our property taxes go up with it. And then Centerpoint said everything would be lower price because everything is right here, shorter distances to the stores and everything. Well, the prices in the stores of everything are still high. The gasoline prices are even more because we got all this traffic, all these people coming here to work in these warehouses. The diesel fuel is up used to be up like 10, 15 cents more than gas prices. Now the diesel fuel price is almost $1 more than the gas prices. And I got a diesel pickup truck and I gotta pay this high diesel fuel price for putting diesel fuel in my pickup because all these trucks have driven up the prices so high. And then Union Pacific and Centerpoint, well, all the trucks disobeying the stop signs and everything. Union Pacific said if a truck tells a right-hand turn out of their intermodal when it said left turn only, that them trucks will not be allowed back in their intermodal. I've seen the same trucks numerous times turn right coming out of that yard, and I've complained to Union Pacific about it, and no, the trucks still get to go in there repeatedly. And the trucks just keep doing U-turns when they're not supposed to. They go where they're not supposed to. Disobey stop signs and all the signs, and Centerpoint says, well, all you have to do is call the Joliet police out there. I've called Joliet police through the years, numerous times. The Joliet police only has 2 truck enforcement cops. I told this to the Centerpoint attorney yesterday. They only got 2 truck enforcement cops. They don't simply have enough cops to be out there to, as Jan Quillman quoted me years ago, they said they can't afford to have a cop sit out there 24/7. And I say, well, why not? Because of all this built up, all this stuff, they want it, Joliet passes it, they gotta take responsibility for it. I see my time is up. That's it.
Thank you.
There's much more, but of course I know
I knew you were in there and I should have stopped.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Mayor,
Good evening.
councilmen, councilwomen. I come as a member of Joliet Township community that I am in support of the History on Wheels Museum in Joliet. Supporting the establishment of the History on Wheels Museum in our community is not only a matter of promoting cultural diversity and inclusivity, but also a means to enrich the understanding of our history and heritage and the impactful roles African Americans played in time of war. Here are a few compelling arguments in favor of such a museum. Number 1 is preservation of cultural heritage. The History on Wheels Museum serves as a repository for preserving the rich cultural heritage of African Americans. It provides a dedicated space to showcase the contributions to war, this country, and the fellow man. Number 2 is educational value. The museum becomes a valuable educational resource for schools, local colleges, and the community at large. It offers a comprehensive understanding of history on wheels and how the contributions to the war that helped shape this country, allowing visitors to learn about pivotal moments, influential figures, and the struggles and triumphs of African Americans during that time. And number 3, fostering dialogue and understanding. The History on Wheels Museum becomes a space for fostering open dialogue and understanding. It can host events, discussions, and run programs that promotes cross-cultural awareness, breaking down stereotypes and fostering a more interconnected community. In conclusion, supporting the creation of the History on Wheels Museum in our community is an investment in education, cultural diversity, and community identity, fostering a more inclusive and informed society. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak on an agenda item other than the public hearing this evening?
My My name is Joe Jenkins. I live out by Elwood, and I have a concern with Millsdale Road and 53 and Bridge Road. I mean, the stuff that I see going out there on a daily basis is insane. The way people drive and the trucks that aren't supposed to be going on that road, but the car thing is really concerned me. I seen a guy tonight. I was waiting there with my dog. I won't cross across the road when people are even stopping because like a guy tonight, he was 3 cars behind the guy. He flew around him. There's a center lane, but it's not a passing lane or anything. He just flew down that road and passed as many cars as he could possibly before he got to the tracks. And he just got there in time because there's a concrete barrier down there to keep you from trying to cut through the tracks there. But I mean, I see this on a daily basis. And my concern is somebody's gonna get hurt really bad or killed because these people, I mean, it's just getting crazy out there. And now with these 3 new warehouses that are putting, because I'm right there, my concern is it's just gonna get worse and worse. And like I mentioned to Susanna, I says, they really need to close that road down and make another option for them people to go because they're going through a residential area, people are flying. And this stuff, it don't like stop after a certain time. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, with Thanksgiving, it'll probably slow down, but then as soon as Thanksgiving's over, it's just gonna get stupid again. And I mean, I see this stuff every day because I walk my dog. And I just see this, I just see a bad thing happening on that road. And with 53 in Millsdale, there's been a ton of accidents because I've seen people pull out too wide and people are driving like 55 down that road and they have no place to go, you know. So that's mainly what I wanted to bring up. And then like I wrote a letter to Susanna about it, I'm really worried that something bad is gonna happen there. And I just don't wanna hear that at some point somebody got killed because somebody was being reckless down that road. That's basically about it. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
and everyone in the room. My name is Edmund Baldwin. I'm representing the East Side community. I just got 2 things to put on everyone in this room, mind, a sort of a homework assignment. When you build a establishment or a business, when you build it, you have a plan to have people in place to be able to run every part of that business. That's what everybody in here knows about this. When each one of you are responsible, when each one of you solicit for voting, each one of you pledge to the people that you wanted a vote from, that you was gonna protect and serve that part of your community. You said you was gonna fight for it. Now, if your word is not good, then why do we vote for you? If you're gonna stand by that, then stand by that. And then the second thing I wanna say, and put on everyone's mind when you go home, you could think about it. If a plane crashes and you got one guy with a sore thumb and one guy with a heart problem, who do you help first? You're always gonna help the people that needs the help the most. If a kid is behind in school and one kid's getting A's, who do we assist? We're gonna assist the one who needs the most help. So when you look at this community, I'm gonna say this again. When you look at this community, each one of you with the integrity that you told us that you had, which community you think need the most help? Take that home and think about it.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak regarding an agenda item?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Nick McGrath. I live off of Gladys Avenue, opposite of Knoll Road, where the whole North Point fun time happens, right? So the opposite corner, I watched some of the YouTube video from last night where they had the little dog and pony show where they paraded the guy out selling his property and everything going on back there. The thing is, I definitely vote no for that. Not that I don't care about the guy, but I really don't care about what's going on over there because no one cares what's going on the other side of that same field. So Knoll Roll has a berm that's somebody can give me an accurate measurement, 30, 40 foot tall, kind of blocks that neighborhood real nice and put nice trees up. They didn't even build an anthill on our side. I have a 4-year-old, almost 2-year-old, walking out. It's not like I'm in a series of houses and I can kind of see the building. I walk out my back door and there's the first million or 1.3 million, maybe it's Target, I don't know what it's gonna be, right out my back door. That's what I look at. Their solution, when I yelled at the guy from Allied and Peak Construction, whoever that guy was, who came crying around the pond, I had to talk with both of them. I've talked to Susanna a bunch of times. She came to our HOA meeting that we just had, that I got voted in for. So I'd like to say I'm speaking for the community too, since I did get voted in for that. So no one has come to us and said, oh, the patch said it's all civil and it's all roses and balloons. Tell me which one of you have come to our neighborhood and looked down our street and looked behind our houses. They planted, I'm 6'3", they planted 5'5" trees behind my 6-foot fence because it's gonna block the buildings. When does that make sense? When my kid's 25 years old and hopefully he's not living at home? It makes no sense. You put 444 trees up back there to do what? You put a berm on the other side, at least it's a berm. They did nothing on our side, but what I do get to look at is a pretty sweet looking, it looks like a snowmobile ramp for like some off-road course that's gonna jump over 53 right now. I get to stare at that. Makes no sense. The other thing with, because I'm gonna run out of time here, like they both said, the roads, Millsdale, the tonnage, all this and that, that's all, it's BS. Don't care what it is. There's a ton of trucks driving down the road. Figure it out. The problem is allowing them to have more land and more land and more land. They keep saying, well, it's already annexed. We're gonna do what we want anyway. We're gonna put cold storage. Fine, let them do it. Why do they need this guy's house so bad? Why do they need it so bad? They can do whatever they want anyway. You guys keep approving stuff without other stuff being finished first. Finish it. Finish what's already there. Why do they need more land? Why do they need 17 more acres? For what? Nothing. Finish what started. Maybe put the cul-de-sac in, maybe do something else. But you're definitely not taking care of us. And whoever up here is scared to do their job, I will gladly take that seat. I will gladly take that seat. And it will happen. It will. I'm not scared to say no to people. Seems like we got a lot of yes men and women up here. Stop being yes men and women. Do your job. Just do your job. Fix the area, because if one of my kids get hurt, there will be a problem. I'll give somebody else some time.
Yeah, guy up in there.
Anyone else that would like to speak on an agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move on to council committee reports. First is Communication, Technology, and Information Systems Committee.
IT, sorry. The CTIS committee met Tuesday, November 14th in the executive conference room. We had quite the full house. Besides Councilman Cardenas and myself, we had 10 other people, which I won't list them all. First on our agenda, we had an award of contract for the Granicus Efficiency Suite in the amount of $72,784.17. Just in case you don't know, that manages the full cycle of our public meetings. It allows staff to enter our agenda items electronically, council members review the agenda items on our iPads, residents watch the meetings live on the city website, and so much more. The second thing on our agenda was the award of contract to AVDG in the amount of $379,443.41. This will be for the upgrade of the audio, video, lighting equipment for the council chambers, the executive conference room, and the entire JCTV. Chris is going to give us just a few words regarding the ongoing project.
Yeah, so if we receive approval tonight, the project will kick off in probably about 6 weeks from now. You know, I heard one of the concerns last night was just kind of how the ongoing support would be. We have a 90-day agreement after the final acceptance of the completed project, would be called a workmanship agreement. If we have any problems, AVDG comes back out and makes any repairs that are necessary. We also have, of course, a 1-year warranty on all hardware. If we have any failures, AVDG would come out and replace any failed equipment that is currently still under warranty. We also have, I've spoken with Jeff Pra, who is our original contractor, earlier today. He has agreed to come on board and help us throughout the project just to ensure that we receive everything that's in the contract and that the implementation goes smoothly.
Thank you. Other than that, we had, under old and new business, the Deputy Director of Public Works, Sean Mykos, gave us an update for the expanding project docs. It's going into more departments, just to increase, not just to increase efficiencies and organization throughout the city. It's expanding in that way. So, anything else that you? Okay, that's our report.
Finance Committee report.
Finance Committee met here at 5:30 in the chamber. On the committee is Councilwoman Quillman and Councilman Hugg and myself. The general revenue, operation, gaming, income tax, and interest income is exceeding the budget at this time. Sales and utilities are 90% or greater than budgeted. Permits and ambulance billing are still a bit below what was budgeted. Expenses still only $2 million more than last year and expected to be slightly under budget when it is final. Sewer and water operation is performing according to budget. Parking operation is still showing a surplus of about $49,000. Operating year-end budget, the general fund and the parking fund are better than budget, and the sewer and water appears to be at budget. The museum report had 8,000 visitors this past 2 months, 1,400 more than they had last year. The museum operating agreement is now a 1-year renewable operating agreement. In 2002, we approved a 20-year agreement with a 1-year extension this past December. The museum is asking for another 1-year extension to work on updating the agreement in consideration of the 2024. These are agreements for the prison, museum, and the train depot. The museum 2024 grant agreement will be similar to the Rialto in the case that they're going to be $250,000, broken up $25,000 for events, $125,000 of that for the prison operation, and then $100 for the museum operation. We also agreed on a new ambulance fee. This charges Medicare and Medicaid and insurance services. An ordinance was presented to automatically adjust our rates annually to maximize the billing for these services. We will continue to write off any remaining balances that the insurance, Medicare, or Medicaid does not pay. Any other part of the report, Jen or Larry want to add? Otherwise, that's my report.
Thank you.
Well, we discussed the hiring of personnel, and there was 3 very important positions, and I was rather taken back by that because as council, we had said that we were gonna put a hiring freeze on until we got the new city manager so that she could make her own team. And we took a straw poll and all the council agreed to that. And however, this was taken place by 2 people in charge. And I see that as a gross disrespect to not only the mayor, but this council. It was done for whatever reason, sour grapes, whatever you want to call it, but I can't support that because we had a freeze on it and it was deliberate.
That's insubordinate.
Thank you.
Next is the Public Service Committee report.
Public Service met here at City Hall in these council chambers yesterday at 4:30 p.m., which was Monday, November 20th, 2023. We looked through a number of contracts. The largest one was for 1.9 million, almost $2 million. That is for the construction manager at risk. Essentially, this is the company, which is Walsh Construction Company, which will oversee the construction of the Southwest Pumping Station in Durkin Park in Chicago. That's where Joliet's going to tie into Lake Michigan water. So we looked at that for them to oversee that particular project. Found it to be in order. In fact, all of the items except for one or two were found to be in order. An item that had to do with the purchase of anti-icing and de-icing fluids for the 2023-2024 snow removal season was recommended for approval to the council in a 2-to-1 vote. I voted against it. Frankly, it was because it was awarded to a company, even though it wasn't technically a formal bid. It was called an RFQ, request for quotes. The company that came in the lowest wasn't recommended to receive it, even though it was only a small fraction of the total $45,000. But I did not want to say, I don't believe we should set a precedent where those that would come and bid on any of our contracts start to say, maybe we don't have time to do it if they're not going to always give it to the low bidder, all things considered equal. So that was the only discrepancy on that. We looked at a program to be about $72,500. It's a program called Project XXE. It essentially ties together the invoicing system and the project systems of multi-departments. Think of it this way. It's going to make it even more efficient for the sewer and water department and the public works department to essentially, as an example, work together to get the sewer and water thing done and get the public works in there right afterwards, instead of a delay between putting the road back together after the sewer water has been replaced or repaired. An item that we did table for further review and discussion and some more details, an item that has to do with some kind of somewhat digital or automated sidewalk inspection program, more to be announced later. Other than that, the rest of the contracts that we reviewed, we found to be in order and unanimously sent them to the full council with committee recommendation to approve, including such things as a repair for a 2006 VACCON sewer jetter vacuum combo truck. I won't explain it, what that truck does, because I'm not even completely sure what it does, but it has to do with the sewer and water department, and it needs to be repaired. I just want to give a sampling to folks, anybody that might be tuning in for the first time too, that these contracts are vetted individually. There's no reason to go through in detail each contract. They certainly have always been posted on the website and will continue to be prior to and after the bidding process. There's another $43,660 contract we looked at, installing 3 siphons into the Spring Creek 30-inch storm sewer, which has been identified as with the possibility of instability or collapse. So we're getting ahead of that curve because we can't afford to have any storm sewer, major storm sewer outlets going into the rivers collapse on us. So the sewer and water department's getting out of it. With that, we looked at several change orders passed from final payments. Several of them were closing up of the 2022 sidewalk and resurfacing program, because like this year, last year, when we did 18 million, I'm sorry, last year we did 18 million. Some of the programs didn't get done, projects didn't get done in 2022, even though they were budgeted, because weather. You do as many as you can and then you stop, and they were finished this year. And the good news is we are proposing 22 million, Kevin? Is it next year for streets? 29 million for streets and sidewalks?
I'm sorry, 22.9.
Yeah, 22.9 million. So as we had discussed over the last couple of years, we're increasing it. We've gone from an average of 3.5 million for streets and sidewalks. Then we went up to 12 million, then we went to 18 million, and now we've arrived. 22.9 million is a good solid yearly number. So we looked at all of the change orders, pay estimates, and then final payments on contracts that were finished up and found them to be in order. And all of those items were unanimously approved by the committee to be sent to the full council with committee recommendation to approve. Then we also looked at the establishment of the 2024 special services areas, number 1 and number 2, In short, every year we have special services area. They have to do with street and curb improvements, and we need to have that as a special service area because there is a copay with homeowners and businesses and so forth. So every year we go through the same routine because we're always repairing, replacing, and expanding those services. Other than that, I can't see anything that would be worth taking up anybody's time for. Did I miss anything, Caesar or Pat?
No, we find it solid.
We good? Good. Well, Mayor, that would be my report then.
Thank you.
Next is consent agenda, approval of the minutes. It's recommended the minutes of the pre-council meeting held on November 6, 2023, and the minutes of the council meeting held on November 7, 2023 stand approved as recorded. Invoices to be paid, it's recommended this report be approved. Council Memo 589-23, August through October 2023 payrolls, it's recommended said regular payrolls be approved. Council Memo 590-23, award of contract for the 2024 drinking water sodium hypochlorite purchase to Univar USA in the amount not to exceed $498,480. Council Memo 591-23, award of contract for the 2024 bulk sodium hypochlorite purchase to Hawkins in an amount not to exceed $260,550. Council Memo 592-23, award of contract for the 2024 sodium bisulfite purchase to Alexander Chemical in an amount not to exceed $47,760. Council Memo 593-23, award of contract for the 2024 sodium permanganate purchase to Caris Corporation in an amount not to exceed $349,925.28. Council Memo 594-23, award of contract for the 2024 manganese sulfate purchase to Hawkins in an amount not to exceed $246,330. Council Memo 595-23, award of contract for the 2024 blended phosphate purchase to Caris Corporation in an amount not to exceed $127,680. Council Memo 596-23, award of contract for the 2024 aluminum sulfate purchase to Asalco Michigan City Plant LLC in an amount not to exceed $720,655. Council Memo 597-23, award of contract for the 2023-2024 snow removal for the downtown city center area to Porch Doctors in the amount of $58,070. Council Memo 598-23, award of contract for the 2024 through 2028 utilities generator maintenance to Charles Equipment Energy Systems in the amount of $209,178.45. Council Memo 599-23, award of contract for the construction of Chicago Connection Facilities pre-construction services to Walsh Construction Company as construction manager at risk in the amount of $1,975,000. Council Memo 600-23, award of contract to Granicus for meeting efficiency suite in the amount of $66,527.37. Council Memo 601-23, award of contract for the Fairmount Water Tower demolition to Green Demolition Contractors in the amount of $48,500. Council Memo 602-23, award of professional services agreement for the non-revenue water billing system audit to EMA in the amount of $44,029. Council Memo 603-23, award of professional services agreement for the Department of Public Utilities Safety Consulting Services 2024 with Sheffield Safety and Loss Control in the amount of $250,075. Council Memo 604-23, award of a professional services contract for pavement analysis and condition classification to Cyclomedia Technology in the amount of $83,683. Council Memo 605-23, approve a contract for the 2023-2024 rock salt purchase with the state of Illinois and Cargill to purchase bulk rock salt at the average unit price of $75.02. Council Memo 606-23, approved purchase for the replacement deep well motor for well 17D to Lane Christensen Company in the amount of $164,115. Council Memo 607-23, approve repairs to the well 17D pump to Lane Christensen Company in the amount of $26,072. Council Memo 608-23, purchase of one Ford Interceptor from Ron Tirapelli Ford in the amount of $42,742.26. Council Memo 609-23, Amendment Number 1 for professional services for the small water meter replacement program to Cultivate Geospatial Solutions in the amount of $24,000. Council Memo 610-23, Change Order Number 1 for the City of Joliet Landscape Maintenance Contract East with Berry Landscape Management in the amount of $20,000. Council Memo 611-23, Change Order Number 1 for the 2023 Hickory Spring Creek Cleaning Project in the amount of $20,000 to Greg Dobzik Excavating, and payment request number 2 and final in the amount of $22,000. Council Memo 612-23, Change Order Number 1 for the 2023 Small Water Meter Replacement Program to Calumet City Plumbing and Heating in the amount of $450,000. Council Memo 613-23, Change Order Number 2 in the amount of $101,600, and Change Order Number 3 in the amount of $28,525 for the Caton Farm Road Water Main Improvements Project to PT Farrell Construction Company for a total of $130,125. Council Memo 614-23, Change Order Number 2 for the Plainfield Road Black Center Water Main Improvements Project to Trine Construction Corporation in the amount of $14,970.64. Council Memo 615-23, request for authorization to approve Change Order Number 1 to Martin Whalen Office Solutions in the amount of $25,000 for managed print services. Council Memo 616-23, request for authorization to approve Change Order Number 2 to Sierra ITS for information technology contract services in the amount of $34,000. Council Memo 617-23, annual software payment for the Census Analytic and RNI SAAS systems to Core and Main LP in the amount of $82,593. It's recommended Council Memos 590-23 through 517-23 be approved. Is there a motion to approve all said consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Navarro?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas? Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is Council Memo 619-23, award of contract for Axon Enterprise Services. It's recommended this be approved.
So moved. Second.
Yeah.
If we could first, just because this is a very substantial contract, many millions of dollars. It's going to be for a length of term of 10 years. If we could have, I don't know if Councilwoman Coleman as Public Safety would like to just give a brief explanation, or maybe some of our staff could give a.
We had the explanation last night.
But I mean, just for the audience.
Oh. Well, I don't have my notes. I'm not prepared for that.
Well, if,
I can give a brief overview,
Sure.
Councilman. So again, Axon is the provider that essentially provides a lot of our police departments, body cameras, the taser equipments, all of our evidence storage, a lot of the digital and technology side of everything that now is part of the police department's work. So the contract provides for all of the units for all of our sworn officers today and room to grow for maintenance and warranty of all those pieces of equipment. Over time, the contract's a 5-year contract with a 5-year option. And by that longer term commitment, we're able to save about $3.2 million over the cost of the contract.
Right. And so the services includes equipment, of course, for body-worn cameras. I believe also the dash cameras on the squad cars.
That's correct.
The integrated alert system for tasers whenever they're put into use. So there's a lot of moving parts here, a lot of components. So for the audience to see, such a big price tag on this, that's not just that's not a purchase that we make on a daily basis, right? We don't go around spending close to $17 million and cutting checks like that left and right. So, clearly the Public Safety Committee has vetted this, and as you mentioned, Mr. Tonelli, in going for the longer term contract, we will be saving a substantial amount of money. So I think that satisfies things.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Next time, give me a heads up.
It was motion seconded to approve Council Memo 619-23, which is an award of contract for Axon Enterprise Services. Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Navarro?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is Council Memo 620-23, award of contract for the 2024 biosolids disposal program to New Era Spreading in the amount of $2,333,930. It's recommended Council Memo 620-23 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is Council Memo 621-23, award of contract to ABDG for the City Council Chambers Audio-Visual Upgrade Project in the amount of $379,443.41. It's recommended Council Memo 621-23 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
This motion is seconded to approve. Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Moving on under public hearings, Council Memo 623-23, a public hearing for resolutions approving annexation agreements for 19940 West Knoll Road, 19922 West Knoll Road, and 19808 West Knoll Road, and for vacation ordinances associated with the development of the South Chicago Logistics Subdivision. This includes a resolution approving an annexation agreement for 1940 West Knoll Road, a resolution approving an annexation agreement for 19922 West Knoll Road, a resolution approving an annexation agreement for 19808 West Knoll Road, an ordinance approving vacation of a perimeter landscape easement north of West Knoll Road and South Bush Road, and an ordinance approving vacation of a stormwater management easement north and west of West Knoll Road. Before we begin the public hearing, the Interim Corporation Council will review the public hearing procedures.
Hi, everyone. We are ready to start a public hearing regarding the items that the clerk mentioned to us. Remember, during the public hearing, all evidence and testimony will be presented under oath. The petitioner will be allowed to present first. After the petitioner is completed, interested parties will be given a reasonable amount of time to present evidence and/or cross-examine the petitioner. As this hearing is legislative in nature and not administrative, an interested party shall be defined as someone who either owns property within 600 feet of the proposed development site, or a member or official representative of an affected governmental body. The remainder of those who wish to be heard shall be classified as public speakers. Interested parties will present first. Once the interested parties have completed, public speakers will be heard. These individuals are public speakers, so the applicable rules shall be in effect. Public speakers need not be put under oath. Speakers should try to address all comments to the council and not to any individual member. Repetitive comments are discouraged. The total comment time for any one person is 4 minutes. No speaker shall engage in a debate or make direct threats or personal attacks or be uncivil or abusive. The presiding officer may limit irrelevant, immaterial, or inappropriate comments or statements. We are ready to start the public hearing.
To let the record show, the public hearing is now open. So first I would ask if the petitioner would like to speak.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Tom Osterberger, 111 North Ottawa Street, on behalf of petitioner. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth, so help me God. You have before you a staff packet. Everything's been published. This is simply a request to bring in approximately 17 acres. You have the area immediately north of it already platted. There's construction on some of the lots. The city had requested, upon the annexation of the property, that adjacent owners who are particularly affected, and these two parcels are surrounded on three sides, be purchased. And so that's what the petitioner has tried to do. By doing that, they're requesting that those parcels be incorporated into the existing plat of subdivision, and so it has to be replatted. So this is really a request just to add these acres. I know last night Mr. Carmichael was here to talk. He is one of them. There is one more, and there is approximately 1.9 or 1.5 acres currently owned by the petitioner as well. But that's literally what this is about tonight. We ask your approval and thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to the interested parties. First is Matt Robbins. And then I'll swear you in.
Okay.
You raise your hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Good evening. My name is Matt Robbins, and I'm the supervisor of Jackson Township. As a board, Jackson Township is completely against this project. As I understand it, only the mayor and city council can change or adopt an ordinance. That is true, then how is North Point under the impression they can use Millsdale Road east of Brandon to get to this property? In a deposition from Public Works Director Greg Ruddy, a question was asked, and I quote, "So in the city of Joliet, according to city ordinances, Millsdale Road east of its intersection with South Brandon, all the way to Route 53 in locations where the city is the owner of Millsdale Road, prohibits trucks in excess of 24,000 pounds. Mr. Ruddy answered, "I believe a portion is 20,000, another portion is 24,000, but yes." In fact, Mr. Ruddy, and that's the maps I just gave you, and Mr. Lubash drew on a map a line showing from South Brandon to the Union Pacific Railroad where the city prohibits the use of trucks in excess of 24,000 pounds. The one's marked GR and the other one's marked RL. So my question is, when was this ordinance changed? This deposition was on September 19, 2023. If the Public Works Director doesn't know, who does? It's funny because at the October Planning and Zoning meeting, I spoke about Millsdale Road, not rated for over 10 tons east of the UP tracks, and up until a week ago, there was a sign stating this, but oddly, it has been removed and relocated just east of North Point's new entrance on Millsdale Road. In a deposition with Russell Lubash, he is asked under the city's ordinance, a non-designated truck route prohibits trucks in excess of 24,000 pounds. True? He answers, "I believe that is the way it reads." Mr. Lubash is also asked, in order for a road like Millsdale Road in between Brandon Road and the Union Pacific Railroad to be designated a truck route, there must be an ordinance by the city of Joliet, correct? He answers yes. The next question, there is no ordinance by the city of Joliet that makes Millsdale in between South Brandon and the Union Pacific Railroad tracks a designated truck route. He answers true. If the traffic engineer of Joliet doesn't believe that Millsdale Road is a designated truck route, who is telling North Point it is okay and allowing them to use it? How can you approve more property to be annexed and built on when they can't even get out of the 3 buildings already built? We were told no bridge, no building, but look at where we are now. Patrick Robinson stated that they are hoping for a permit sometime in 2024 for the bridge. That's a long time without a closed loop. As I'm sure you are all aware of the MOU with the city, IDOT, Will County, and the bridge builder, in the MOU, it states in section 12B3, the city and county agree that they will take no steps or actions to eliminate truck restrictions, weight limits, or other similar regulations on roads that enter or exit the Centerpoint Intermodal or on roads that are adjacent to Centerpoint. That's Millsdale Road. It goes right in there. In the appellate court order, it says, contrary to the city's interpretations of section 12.3b, does not solely limit modifications of city ordinance. It prohibits, more broadly, steps or actions by the city to eliminate trucking restrictions, weight limits, or other similar regulations. This was in a court of law, not my interpretation. In North Point's annexation agreement, section 3, it states the developer hereby agrees to honor any weight restrictions while they may exist. And they do exist, and they can't be eliminated per the appellate court order. You are up there as the elected officials. You put your name on a ballot, and you're here to represent the people of Joliet, which is also on the south side, to make an ordinance to look out for everyone, not just one development. Lastly, a week ago, and I want to think about this, 2 people were killed on 53 at 3 in the afternoon. One was 80 and one was 60. That's 2 people that won't be able to spend Thanksgiving with their loved ones. Do you think putting more traffic on 53 will help this? I sure wouldn't want that on my conscience. Please let all the litigation get figured out and see who's telling the truth before just rubber stamping something like this. Vote no. Thank you.
next interested party is Delilah Legret. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Good evening. My name is Delilah Legret. I reside in Jackson Township, and I am the Township Assessor. I would like to speak on some things said last night by Mr. Osterberger. He discussed that without this annexation, the owners would not have their properties purchased. To date, North Point has purchased 3 home properties right on Knoll Road. 19542 for $425,000, 19344 for $360,000, and 19808 for $350,000. None of those properties were asked to be annexed before purchasing. Annexation is absolutely not a requirement for the sale of a property. North Point is holding this over the heads of these 2 homeowners while buying others' homes without the annexation threat. In fact, North Point had a contract with Mr. Carmichael last year and didn't complete the sale on their end. And now, dragging the board into this absolutely false idea that the annexation is needed to purchase these homes. There is nothing about that that suggests North Point cares about the Jackson Township residents or about being the good neighbor. Next, Mr. Osterberger said, trucks don't come or go. It's that simple when discussing the use of 53. We all know nothing is ever that simple. After all, for the last 6 months or so, trucks only come or go from their project to Route 53. The only route for construction is Route 53. A semi hauling a D6 dozer or an excavator or a filled concrete truck, those weigh even more than a semi with a trailer box. Trucks make hundreds of trips onto Route 53 from their project daily. It's been approved for them to do so. It's that simple, may have been intended as the joke of the evening. It made me laugh at home. Thanksgiving week of 2019, I stood at this podium and I sat in these seats, and I was promised there was an absolute need for very small square foot industrial properties, that annexation and rezoning was necessary on Ridge Road for this really important, profitable, small square footage project to start right away. We're still waiting on that one to start. Thanksgiving week of 2021, I was here again, assured time and time again that North Point had the best of intentions. A group would be formed immediately with residents, a board member, and North Point. Meetings were to be held quarterly. They would be reporting back to the board constantly. Still waiting on that one as well. Doing things quickly is obviously not a priority for North Point. So there is absolutely no reason to approve new plats and annexation while the city of Joliet is still waiting on their urgent needs of North Point from 4 years ago this week. I am asking for you to vote no tonight. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that is an interested party that did not have time to register beforehand? Seeing none, we'll move on to the public speaker portion of the public hearing. First is Janet Diaz. Just a reminder, you'll have 4 minutes to speak.
Hold on a second, I have a letter that I'm gonna give to you.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Janet Diaz. I'm a Will County Board member. I just turned a letter over from Senator Rachel Ventura that I'm going to read into the record. Dear Mayor Darcy and City Council, in regards to the North Point warehouse, please vote no to warehouses at North Point. North Point was just supposed to build a closed-looped bridge, but they have not implemented this construction. To continue to expand more warehouses when trucks do not have access would be irresponsible. Furthermore, they do not have permitted entranceway from the Department of Transportation off of Route 53. Therefore, there is no way for trucks to utilize the entrance outside of the temporary permit, which is for construction use only. If for some reason you do decide you want to approve this, there need to be a much better tree line / berm between the residents' homes and the warehouses. North Point needs to be provided a more dense populated tree line berm so that the visibility is less for the warehouses and absorption of light that comes off the warehouses and sound for the residents. The trees that are already planted are few and far between. They do not look like the proposed photos. Residents don't want to look out and see these ginormous warehouses. Please consider it a no vote. Sincerely, Senator Rachel Ventura. Now I have some of my own notes. I'm going to also ask for a no vote. No closed loop, no vote. Where's the traffic study been done? My understanding, there isn't one. We need to also have some asks from these people. Where's the asking for a police officer to be paid 24 hours a day, 365 days a year for the next 15 years? Because that's the average lifespan of a warehouse in this area. I think that's something that we should ask for, and that would include their salaries and their benefits. Then at least we would have 3 police officers for the city of Joliet. Their sole duty is to sit there and watch and hand out tickets. And I'm telling you, as a CDL holder, if you start handing out the tickets, the radios on the CBs are gonna go, hey, you better follow the rules, you're gonna get a ticket. Hey, you better follow the rules, you're gonna get a ticket. And guess what? Y'all can make some money doing it too. So please vote no, and if you don't, at least put the asks in and make them do their job and make them pay for it. Thank you.
Sandy Costa.
Good evening. Not all of you were here last time I spoke about this issue, but I think many of you know that we've gotten up here for years and spoken about how this project serves the city of Joliet and our neighbors. Not at all. It only serves the purposes of the corporation that will profit off of all the work that goes on there. There's no traffic study. There is no benefit to us. We don't have jobs there. We don't benefit from the neighborhood. Talks of paths and bike trails, etc., really don't interest us. What we want is to be good neighbors to the surrounding communities. We want good jobs, and we want North Point to stop being the giant octopus that it's becoming. As time goes on, their asks of us become larger and larger and more untenable. Our rights are getting smaller and smaller. It's already hard to drive around there. Center Point's bad enough, and it's not even built out. Please vote no. Thank you.
Mike Kapanis.
Good evening. As I look back here, I see just a handful of people from the area where all this Center Point is going, or North Point is going on. When it first started, this room was packed. You couldn't get a seat, standing room, and everything. And as time went by, North Point got the win. Time went by, more people didn't show up because they knew what was going to happen. North Point got the win. North Point got the win, and like I said, there's only a handful of people here from the area. So I think it's time for the residents in the area to get a win and for you to vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Arian Corley.
Good evening, everyone. I am speaking with great concern to the environmental and social justice issues related to these annexations and North Point's proposed project in general. First of all, diesel, particulate, a go-go, everywhere. And to my knowledge, there's only 2 instruments to measure this air pollution. One is at Cunningham School, which is nowhere near any of the highways we have here. The other one is at JJC, which is a little closer. 2, destruction of public land. It may not be something a lot of people consider the money involved and the jobs and things like that, but open land is something that can't be reversed. The noise and light pollution. I live a half a block from I-80 on Woods Avenue in Joliet. The noise from the highway is unbelievable. And I would like to ask someone from this council to at least find out how we get a sign that says no, what do they call it? The air braking. There's other communities that have that. We should have that on our highways. And then there's the increased community health issues related to the diesel particulate and the lack of community resources available. Further disenfranchisement of Joliet neighborhoods that are already deprived of privileges due them. And last, depletion of community resources to include water consumption, funds needed to repair roads, traffic control, police and fire protection. And then check out North Point Development's Facebook page. They post things bragging all about their philanthropic deeds, like the holiday bike drive in Kansas City, collecting over 120 bikes for kids in Kansas City. Make-A-Wish Foundation, painting a library in Nanticoke, Pennsylvania. They're all over the country. Rooftop solar array at their headquarters to offset 35% of electricity consumption and reduce their carbon footprint. Building beds for children. Partnership with New Directions to break the stigma and prioritize mental health. Spreading 52 yards of compost to create a garden at Holland Middle School in Houston. What do we get? They took credit for the food distribution by Northern Illinois Food Bank and the Warren Sharp Community Center. Vote no.
Stephanie Irvine.
Good evening. For the last 7 years, I've spoken against North Point Development's project, which was initially called Compass Business Park, then Eastgate Logistics Park, EGLPC for short, then Compass Global Logistics Hub, then Third Coast Intermodal, and now what is it, South Chicago Logistics Park? It's almost like they're hiding. The doublespeak and gaslighting has been shockingly bold. They'll tell you they are only here to annex just this little small parcel in one hearing. That's it, that's all, it's simple. And with a straight face and a smile, Mr. Osterberger will stand before you and say that you must annex and rezone this little bit right now because it's just this little bit that will make a happy straight line and the boundary will be all easy peasy. And it's gonna connect just these two little parts, but does it end there? Is that really what they're asking for, or is it gonna connect to the other parts of the project? Like the parts that the public was barred from questioning in past hearings. Would that then connect to parts that would have been in Elwood and Manhattan, and more and more and more until all those pieces total 3,000 acres? No, we couldn't possibly be speaking about that because they definitely don't want their second boundary agreement lawsuit or what, like the 9th or 10th one altogether that they're facing. They will never be honest about the entirety of their project. We can't get a traffic study that reviews the whole thing, everything that they want to build, environmental studies that look at the big picture. Instead, we get piecemeal. Why? Because it's easy to annex and rezone in tiny little pieces and claim tiny impacts, rather than to do it all together. This way they can skirt zoning requirements that larger projects are subject to following, because certainly a 3,000 acre warehousing and trucking development connected to the rail would be IT zoning and not I-1. They can skirt traffic requirements and evade environmental requirements. So you better approve it now. They threatened you yesterday, and probably Mr. Carmichael when they offered to buy his house. They can't close on his property without this annexation. Is it really annexation that they need, or do they need it done now because they're making offers they can't cash? And they just want their annexation and rezoning while leaving people like Mr. Carmichael in the dust. Because last I checked public record, they mortgaged every property that they previously owned outright. I doubt they ever intend to close on those properties, even if you give them what they want right now. Speaking of money, did the city ever get their $10 million from the last agreement? Because no FOIA ever produced a record of it. They need their approval so they can shove it down everyone's throats before anyone realizes what they're actually doing. They've told council how their closed loop system is the perfect solution to controlling and containing truck traffic, and who doesn't want to hear that? Except the fine print revealed during high traffic they would open barriers. They told us they would never be an entrance of any kind on Route 53. They just poured turn lanes. Oh, looks like it's an employee entrance now. We all see trucks use entrances designated for employee access, roads they are prohibited from using, down neighborhood streets, and past weight limit signs. I have attended or called in hearings that purposefully and cruelly land before pretty much every single holiday. Easter, I've been here. Christmas, I've been here. Thanksgiving, multiple times. That's not a coincidence. Perfectly timed hearings when everyone is at their busiest to perhaps limit public participation, they're doing it intentionally by bringing it before council this way. We aren't stupid, and we know it's not a coincidence. Their behavior has been, the past 7 years, reprehensible, and it continues to be so. This project has pit communities against each other, neighborhoods against one another, and local government against the people. And why wouldn't it, when we have been repeatedly told that our voices don't matter, that community doesn't matter, that responsible, taxpayer-funded county-wide studies and land use planning doesn't matter. The distrust in local representatives that this project created will mar this area for decades. It's time for a change, and I hope that this council can make a start tonight by voting no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Betsy Satcher. Betsy Satcher.
Good evening. I am Betsy Satcher with Eastside Neighborhood Council. I stand before you with a heavy heart tonight, with a sad heart tonight, because that 80-year-old that was killed on Route 53, 3 houses down from me. Sad. It's sad. He went to pick his daughter up from work. Neither one of them returned home. Why? Because of that accident. We don't have the infrastructure for more traffic in our area. It's just sad. When I get ready to go someplace, there's trucks on Rowell Avenue. There are trucks on Mills Road. There are trucks on 4th Avenue. There are just trucks everywhere. And we have asked again and again and again and again that we stop allowing all these warehouses to come to our area, and we are not equipped for it. I know they're making money. I know it's a business. We realize that. We need economical growth. We know we need that. We need the money. But do we need it at the expense of our residents? Let's be fair. Let's think about the people. It's not about the money. It's not about these businesses coming into the area to get what they want, when they want it, how they want it, without consideration for any of our citizens. And that's what I was thinking as I was reading that article that they so lavishly wrote in the Post, the Patch. Did they say anything about what they would give the residents? Did they say anything about a grocery store? Did they say anything about road improvements? Did they say anything about helping people with housing and things like that? No, because that's not their interest. We are tired. It's sickening. We need help. We want to improve our quality of life. Please stop taking away from us. We're asking for help so that we can have hope, so that we can have things to offer our kids. We need better schools. And how long have we cried saying we need a grocery store? We have to travel miles to get to a grocery store. Why? Because we don't have one. The grocery store that we didn't have in our neighborhood, oh, now it's a drug rehab. Who is it benefiting? Not the people. Please, please, I'm begging you, do not approve. Do not give this warehouse, this company, more land to just shut us out of what we have worked so hard to gain. Please vote no.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak during the public speaking portion?
I'm Jim Lanham. I'm a Joliet resident. As a lot of you know, I've run for elective office for this affected area, state representative, and I'm currently doing so now. So I feel like I've been around this area twice, met everyone once, and the one thing I've never met is a resident in or near this affected area that wants any of these projects. The only ones that want this are outside interests. You have no duty or no obligation to these outside interests. You have duties to these residents. So say no to this. Route 53, try driving that at noontime, going to get lunch somewhere out there, taking your life in your own hands. Abraham Lincoln, is this going to encroach on that? My father's buried out there. Several friends' fathers are buried out there. A friend of mine is buried out there. What's it going to do to that? You have obligation and duty to those residents and those things before you have any obligation to these big corporations and their 1.9 foot square warehouse. Truck traffic that's out of control. I've worked security for 20 some years, worked so many truck yards. Truck drivers never follow the rules. You can put up all the kinds of signs you want, don't go this way, don't do that, boom, right through. So if there's no enforcement going on to stop that, it's chaos. So please vote no to this. And do it for the residents. That's who matters, not these special interests, not North Point, Center Point, West Point, East Point, Crook Point. So thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak during the public hearing?
As I didn't get to finish my thing, but my important thing, what my thing was this study that AECOM did for Centerpoint with this Hobo Road Bridge Project thing. But they made this thing out for IDOT, and on our Vetter Road, it describes Vetter Road as the existing cross-section of Vetter Road from Centerpoint Way to Town Line Road, which is Schweitzer Road, consists of 2 standard travel lanes with limited no shoulder and rural setting. The existing road is used mostly to provide access to the residents and agricultural properties along the corridor. The intersection at Centerpoint Way is a 4-way stop control. Vetter Road ends at a T intersection at Town Line Road, which is Schweitzer Road. And it doesn't fail to mention that the fact that Vetter Road was a no-truck road, and that the fact that Vetter Road is very hilly, which makes the road very dangerous for trucks to be traveling on into the residents. As I've demonstrated numerous times, and with my pictures of semi trucks coming within feet of me when I go out the road trying to get my mail, or my difficulties trying to get out of my driveway, because I gotta back out on the road. Air quality, as far as air quality, it falls in a non-attainable area, and conference would need to be determined, coordinations with CMAP about the air quality. And I don't recall any other air quality studies being done out here for all the added truck traffic and what it's caused. As far as traffic noise, most of the land use in the project area is industrial, commercial, and traffic noise would not likely affect them. And however, these scattered residents on farms south of the IM and along Vetter Road, the entire corridor will need to be evaluated and classified in common noise environments following the Highway Traffic Noise Assessment Manual. You know, how do they say that these trucks will not affect us? Well, now we're having trucks coming down my road like I do. You know, the noise is outrageous, you know, and the vibrations from the trucks, there's nothing about the vibrations on these trucks vibrating my house and feeling like somebody's shaking my house every time a truck goes down it. And because of all this, you know, of course, if you approve North Point, where are those North Point trucks gonna go? They're without a doubt gonna come my way and come down my road. You know, do I need more trucks coming down my road? I mean, it's bad enough I'm being kept awake 24/7 now, and I can't even function hardly anymore. I'm up here in anger, I'm up here like a zombie because really I ain't getting my sleep anymore. So please, you know, don't be voting yes for any more of these projects till we get this stuff worked out. Deny North Point and deny Center Point anymore, please.
Anyone else?
Okay, so the petitioner has the burden of going forward, so the petitioner will be allowed to present any rebuttal evidence or testimony.
Mayor and council, we've heard those objections before. You have good staff. You have traffic reports. I'm not going to address every concern. I'm not going to point out that off of 53 are construction entrances. That's because that's how construction works. It's not part of an annexation agreement, okay? I understand concerns. This was approved before. Nobody wants to talk about how 1 million square foot brings tax revenue in. We heard about the need for schools. 1 million square foot brings $600,000 of tax revenue to the school. So to villainize industry when we don't have tax revenue coming from elsewhere is foolish. But that's a larger discussion. We're asking for approval. You've previously approved a good project and we appreciate your time.
No.
There's, at this time, we would close the public hearing, as the petitioner has the last statement. So let the record show the hearing is now closed. The staff is recommending said resolutions and ordinances be approved.
I'd like to make a motion to table.
For how long?
60 days.
Until we get things worked out? I'll second that.
It's been motion seconded to table Council Memo 623-23, 60 days. I'm just looking at the date of the meeting. So the second meeting in January would be January 16th. It's been motion seconded to table Council Memo 623-23 to the January 16th council meeting. Council Memo 623-23 is a resolutions approving annexation agreements for 19940 West Knoll Road, 19922 West Knoll Road, and 19808 West Knoll Road, and for vacation ordinances associated with the development of the South Chicago Logistics Subdivision. Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Abel?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 623-23 was tabled to the January 16th council meeting. Moving on under ordinances, Council Memo 625-23, an ordinance approving the 2024 fiscal year annual budget for the city of Joliet, Will, and Kendall County. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
No.
Councilwoman Navarro.
No.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-2. Council Memo 626-23, an ordinance proposing the establishment of the 2024 Joliet Special Service Areas Number 1 and Number 2. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
In motion seconded to approve, Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is Council Memo 627-23, an ordinance approving the reclassification of 4001 Brandon Road from ITC Intermodal Terminal Industrial Park to ITB Intermodal Terminal Transportation Equipment Zoning. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
I'd like to make a motion to table this.
A second.
Is there a specific date that you would prefer this to be tabled to?
60 days.
Been motion seconded to table Council Memo 627-23 to the January 16th council meeting. Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 627-23 was tabled to the January 16th council meeting. Next is Council Memo 628-23, an ordinance approving the reclassification of 102 Doris Avenue from B3 General Business Zoning to R2A Single Family Residential Zoning. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motion seconded to approve. Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is Council Memo 629-23, ordinances associated with the annexation of 19940 West Knoll Road, 19922 West Knoll Road, and 19808 West Knoll Road, and development of the South Chicago Logistics Subdivision. Since the other item was tabled, it would be recommended this be.
I'd like to make a motion to table. 60 days.
So motion to table to the January 16th. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been motion seconded to table Council Memo 629-23 to January 16th council meeting. Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 629-23 was tabled to the January 16th council meeting. Under resolutions, Council Memo 631-23, a resolution for the Surface Transportation Program Local Match Commitment for the Theodore Street, Green Trails Drive, West Hampton Drive Roadway Widening Improvement Project. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motion seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 632-23, a resolution approving the subrecipient award agreement between Will County and City of Joliet on behalf of the Grand Prairie Water Commission for the Alternative Water Source Program. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motion seconded to approve. Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Next is Council Memo 633-23, a resolution terminating a lease agreement with the Will County Historical Society for the lots at 575 East Jackson Street. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clemens.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 634-23, a resolution authorizing the execution of a lease with History on Wheels for the lots at 575 East Jackson Street. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is the city manager's report.
Great, thank you, Krista. I guess first, on behalf of myself and all the city staff, we just want to wish all of you and your families a happy Thanksgiving and everyone in the city as well. A reminder that on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, we have the Light Up the Holidays Parade and Festival downtown. So there's activities going on all day, all across every venue downtown. The tree lighting specifically of our downtown Christmas tree will be at 5:15, and then the actual Light Up the Holidays Parade will start at 5:30. So it looks like we're going to have decent weather for the most part. So enjoy seeing everyone there. Last item, City Planner Jane Bernhardt had asked that we share this with you. So recently, the old Joliet prison had been given its designation on the National Register, and on November 30th at 6 p.m., there's going to be a presentation from Laura Ramsey, who was the historic preservation consultant, to discuss her findings on research from the project and talk about the history of the Joliet prison. That's going to be in the Joliet Area Historical Museum Auditorium. Again, it's November 30th at 6 p.m. That's all I had, Mayor.
Thank you.
Next is public comments. Jim Lanham.
How's everyone doing? Recently, we learned that there was a missing girl here in Joliet. She's home safe now. Thank God for that. And I'd like to give a sincere thank you to some of the officers that were involved that really, really put in a good effort. Even above the high standards of Joliet Police, they were a real comfort to the family. So I personally would like to thank those officers. God bless them. It was really, really great of them to do that. And it leads to my my comment here. It's a kind of a public service announcement about dangerous people. You can be the best person in the world, the best parent in the world, and if you end up trusting the wrong person, you're doomed. You know, you can look out as much as you can for yourself, for others, for your kids. These people that are bad, you know, they can hurt you physically, mentally, and even now, the big thing now is financially. So we all need to look out for each other, look out for ourselves. And I also call on the state and federal governments when it involves human trafficking and sexual predators and stuff like that. We need harsher penalties for this kind of thing. We need truth in sentencing on these things where they don't serve 50% and get off. No early releases. And if the jails get overcrowded with predators and bad people, so what? Stack them like sandbags in there. Leave them in there where they're not a danger to us out here. And I'd like to tell everyone happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak under public comments this evening?
Just quickly, Delilah LaGratz, I am the assessor for Jackson Township, including those properties. If you ever have any questions on the valuations of any warehouses in Jackson Township, I am available. You are welcome to come to my office and sit and go through all of the valuation throughout the years. I'm happy to come to you as well, but I am available for that.
Thank you.
Good evening, councilmen and women. My name is Luther Johnson. I didn't come up earlier because I didn't want to sway your vote with my great speech that I had prepared. So you guys, I thank you for approving the lease agreement on the Cassidy House. You all have a thankless job, and so the people that went before me have real issues, and the lease was not one of those issues, and I appreciate that. I just wanted to say that each and every one of you now are part of history. The decision you made to allow us to move forward and put the first and only African-American museum in Will County, you just become part of that history. Not the council before you, or the one after you. This group did that. And I'm indebted and I appreciate that. And now the work begins. And I can't wait to have that big gold set of scissors, Mayor, and all of you out there on June 19, 2024, which is Juneteenth, the grand opening that I'm anticipating to have this museum at least functional and tourable. Thank you, and my crew, my architect, and everyone here are ready to start the work. We appreciate you. Thank you.
One quick comment, Mr.
Yes.
Johnson. We didn't discuss this before, but I want to see Bessie Coleman in there.
I'll make that happen. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Anyone else?
We have to come to the museum to find out who she is and what she did.
Mayor, council, my name is Bob Cobb. I want to make a different type of speech, if I may. Earlier you talked about the snow removal. In one of the past council meetings that I've spoken about, I complained about the snow plows. They come down the street, and let me first off say, I understand that it's a challenge to get rid of the snow, to move it, but they go down in three, and they fly. They jump the curb, rip out part of the side, the whole length of the side. And that's not a problem. They replace the side. The problem is that when I spoke last time on it, it was 10:30, 11 o'clock in the daytime. I'm plowing, I'm snow blowing my sidewalk, and I hear them. Well, they just flew. That third one jumped the curb, flew snow, salt, mud from the side. They get all over me. And they go down the frontage road and turn around and come back. Well, you don't know how aggravated I was at that. Snow and slush and mud all over me. Well, I waited for them to turn around, and they came around. I motioned for that third driver. Come on, let's talk about this. And he gave me the finger. So my comment now is I would like to see if the supervisor can stress to these people, hey, if you see somebody snow blowing the sidewalk, slow down just for that. Don't go 100 miles an hour and throw the snow all over this guy. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm back again, Mr. Mayor, Council. Krista, you're laughing at me. No, my public comment is that I am really very proud of you all. I love the way that you all are working together, and you're working on getting things solved, and that makes me feel good that you are all definitely working together. So my congratulations to you all. I'm looking at you and I see you, and you're doing a wonderful job. And I didn't get the opportunity to say last night that Including Youth Festival for 2024 is July 20th. Due to the construction, I believe, that's going to be going on in our city center, we will be moving over to the Bicentennial Park for 2024-25. So keep in mind, you guys, it is July 20th, 2024. And you need to think about putting me in that museum over there. Tell them Jan and Suzanne.
Thank you.
Anyone else under public comments?
Good evening. My name is Wesley Norris. I haven't been to a city council meeting since I was at JJC back in the 70s. But a couple things I like to say. It's been a battle fighting with the city services when you call city for services. It's been a battle. Thanks to my councilwoman, some things are changing and running down people in the city to do their jobs. It's changing slowly. Tree trimming on the city side of the sidewalk only took a little 2.5 years to do, but it's getting done. The other thing, future predictions. I made a prediction 51 years ago and it came true. And I've seen people I hadn't seen in 40 years that said, "How did you know this?" And I said, it was my high school electronics teacher who showed us what was going to come. I listened to you talk about these industrial parks and stuff. This is not what you want to do. It's not, because there will be no way to undo it. And if you don't believe me, you don't have to. I can give you 4 movies you can watch. Rise of the Machines, Blade Runner, Prometheus, Rollerball 2000. Don't give too much to machines and automation. With AI, that's the new buzzword. AI has been around for a long time. It's more powerful. You've already seen the results of when AI makes a decision that does not include you. Boeing 737 MAX jets, that was AI. The 2 high-speed train collision in Germany, that was AI. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lastly, as we go into Thanksgiving, I want everybody to appreciate their families as much as they can. And Saturday marked the 4th year since my mother died, and I miss her every day. And it's just hard for me to go on, but I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you guys, for all the hugs you guys have given me through the years. You don't realize how much it means to me, the warmth of having the hugs, because my father's bad to me, my other brother's bad to me, and I don't have that family to go to. I got my own one brother who's far away, but you know what friendships mean to people, and when people have their families and have their friends, and what little friends I got, you guys have been, I appreciate what you guys have done for me all through the years since my mother's passed. Your hugs mean more than anything to me. Your friendship means the world to me. And I thank you guys so much for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak?
Good evening. I just, to our mayor and our city council, to my neighbors, to everybody that's here, this is Thanksgiving. And I just was moved to kind of draw an end to where we begin, to remind and encourage us to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly. That is the way that will bring our city together. That is the way that will make Joliet the greatest city in the state of Illinois and be a light to our country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, next is mayor and council comments. Oh.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and make sure to come out to the light up the holiday. It's going to be the 25-year anniversary. So it should be a great time. So make sure everyone come out and enjoy and happy Thanksgiving.
Just real quick, happy Thanksgiving to all my colleagues up here and everybody out here in the audience and everybody in the city of Joliet. Happy Thanksgiving.
I want to commend Mr. Johnson. I hope we all wish you the best in this venture that you're about to take on. I think we're all looking forward to the completion of this museum. I think we all want to be there on opening day. On that note, we also just celebrated Veterans Day, and at our last meeting we gave a recognition to Mr. Sader Sanchez. There was an event the following Saturday, that same Veterans Day of that week. I know Councilwoman Quillen was there, Mayor Darcy as well, Councilman Cardenas, a number of different community members, our Will County Executive, Jennifer Bertino Tarrant, Representative Larry Walsh, as well as our Congresswoman Lauren Underwood, and then just a number of different members of the community. So it was great to see everybody come out to that event. I had the honor and privilege of emceeing, and I think one of the lessons that I hope everyone took away from that day is that history continues to be written at this very moment. You know, history is alive. It's something that we engage with. It's not something that's relegated to textbooks and, you know, dusty volumes sitting up on a bookshelf. It's something that we live and breathe and that we continue to write at this very moment. So on that note, I want to take a moment also to recognize that November is Native American History Month, or Indigenous History Month. And if the council will indulge me, I'd like to share a excerpt from a poem, a bit of a prayer in my family's native language, which goes something like this. Purepecha, asimirikwari hekuchari untakwani. Asimirikwari hekuchari emparati piinte kuachani. Asimirikwari hekuchari koreparini kurikwarini. Asimirikwari he kashumpikwa ka haroa perakwani. Hidinansti hekuchari empakiti kuramakwani. Han hanaria hekuchari tata Gerati ichani, Canararia ke itzichani, pakuechani ka kuotani, Himpoka hima karasti tzipikwa ka kuchari winapikwa. Which translated reads something as, for my Purepecha people, may you never forget your language. Never forget our great customs. Do not forget the eternal fire that is Kurikwari. Never forget what it means to respect and what it means to have mutual aid. Look for justice and deliver justice to all people. Care for, protect, and respect our elders. Respect our rivers, our lakes, and our mountains, for it is there in them that you will find life and strength. And so the modern state of Michoacan, Mexico, which is where my family is from, coincides almost perfectly with the historical boundaries of the Purepecha people, sometimes referred to as the Tarascos. And I find it quite the honor to know that that's where my ancestry comes from. Not all of us are fortunate enough to know that, to have that connection to our history. And it's important that we recognize, again, that history is alive. So there's a tendency, I think, in the way that we speak about indigenous ancestry, indigenous peoples, and that is to relegate them to the past. But it's important to recognize that people are still here, that they're still alive, and the customs and cultures are very much alive and well. So oftentimes when we speak about Native American history, we say that it's, the language we use is always in the past tense, that the natives had this knowledge that they did live here some time ago, but you know, Native people are still here, and I think it's important that we take a moment to recognize that. And with that, as we go into the holiday season, beginning with Thanksgiving, of course, I want to be grateful for all of our colleagues here in the council and for the community of Joliet as a whole. That's been the community that's raised me. So we'll leave you with that.
Thank you. First, I'll say, Mr. Johnson, thank you for attempting, you know, and politely giving us credit to making history. And no, you're making history, sir. You're making history here in Will County, and I wish you the best of luck and look forward to, hopefully, like you said, a June ribbon cutting. I don't have any gold scissors, but I can bring my regular, my wife lets me use those snub nose scissors, you know, that aren't pointy. This is, at this point is where I miss our old format where we had new business, not final action, and council comments, because we've set a good tone here, and it is Thanksgiving coming up, so I'm going to be brief. It certainly didn't go unnoticed that myself and another member of the council voted no on the budget. Not the first time I did it. I'll just briefly say, because I think we need to be making a better effort to do what many refer to as a zero-based budget. Not looking at how much money is out there that we can take, and then if we don't have some use for it, we'll find a way to spend it. Looking at how little do we need to make things run properly. There's too many new positions in this budget. I gotta give Kevin Singh credit. We talked a number of times. You did give a little bit, you know, after talking, I'm sure, to the city manager and staff, but not enough to get Councilman Hug to yes. A conservative, zero-based budget outcome is what you see with our friends to the east in New Lenox. Their rebate, which they will receive again this March, is the full 100% village, they're a village, not a city, village property tax portion. Here in Joliet, in my quick research, that would amount to, if we did the same thing, that would amount to anywhere from $700 to $1,500 check for every homeowner of a home, a condo, or a townhouse. If you own it and you live in it, you get the rebate out there. This is what we should be doing. Not grabbing what's available, kind of like in that cash machine, you know, that blows the money around, and then figuring out how to spend it later, but saying how little can we use to run this city to keep the rest of the money in the pockets of the residents. So that's it. There's more details involved, but I wanted to comment on that. And then I wanted to say, don't snooze, you lose. I'm gonna be eating, I do the cooking at holidays in my family. I'm gonna be eating or cooking a frozen turkey for the first time in years. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with a place called Hoka Farms up in Waterman, Illinois. Fresh turkeys, they raise them, 80,000 a year, and you go there and it's probably been prepared, slaughtered and prepared maybe within 24 hours. They retired. I didn't find out until Sunday. They didn't do any turkeys this year. So I'm disappointed. My family, in life, don't snooze, you lose. If anybody has a reference on on another place that does the same thing that Hoka, which was Howard Kaufman, was the gentleman's name, has done for 60 years, please contact me. I gotta find a fresh turkey. I'm jonesing. I gotta find a fresh turkey supplier. So let me know. Never wait till the last minute. And happy and blessed Thanksgiving to each and every person, each and every family here in Joliet and everywhere. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You do know you have to thaw that before you cook it.
It's thawing in the fridge right now, and I'm not proud of that fact.
Fresh turkey a couple years ago.
Isn't it
So I was
delicious?
gonna list all the things that I've done, and I really can't believe how much we all do in a 2-week period. I was at JJC for their Diversity Inclusion Day of Mourning. For many of us, it's a celebration. For Native Americans, it is a time of mourning. I was at the Little Miss Black Joliet pageant, thanks to including you. I just want to say that tonight moved me to just tell you all that I have such an appreciation for the residents of District 5. Many of them are here tonight. We have some first timers. Mr. Wesley Norris, very smart man. He's teaching me a lot of things about the history of Joliet. Nick McGrath, who was just voted in as president of his homeowners association. I just cannot tell you from every part of this district how much appreciation I have for all of you in District 5. And I feel like youth are seeing that you have a voice and they're having an effect. Many of the councilmen and women don't have any reason or occasion to drive over to that area down 53 and near Elwood. But when you do that, you're literally taking your life into your own hands. And this has happened to me in the last week, going to Pastor Herb Brooks's church, and it was just very scary. And then on a more serious note, I want to let everybody know that the Joliet Slammers are having an open house December 2nd. It is from 9 a.m. to 12, and there is going to be all kinds of amazing things happening that day. You never know who might be there. Pretty sure Night Train will be there, but you never know who else may show, so maybe you want to come to that event to find out. And I want to give praise to the Joliet Fire Department. This last week, I had a very emergency situation at my house. I didn't think it was an emergency situation. My carbon monoxide detector went off, and my daughter was very persistent that we needed to get out of the house. This was a very serious issue. I was like changing the batteries, thinking this thing was defective, but my daughter grabbed the steak that she just cooked and went out to the car and kept calling me and texting me. She was so insistent upon it, and that carbon monoxide detector, no matter what I did, this thing was still going off. So I called the fire chief saying, please just reassure my daughter that this isn't a big deal, that this is just, you know, maybe it's defective. 3 minutes later, a fire truck pulled up to my house. This actually was a very serious issue. And had I cooked a turkey on Thanksgiving and ignored this beeping or taken the batteries out, like this might not even be a conversation for me, because a turkey cooks about 6 hours. It was literally 100 parts per million immediately as soon as they walked in. They opened up all of the doors and windows and made sure it cleared. It told me exactly what I needed to do. So we will not be having a Thanksgiving at my house, Larry Huck. I might be coming to your house. There will be no turkey.
No fresh turkey.
Okay. There will be no turkey for me. But I want to express my appreciation to the Joliet Fire Department. They saved my life, and it's literally the reason why I'm here tonight. So thank you so much for all that you do, and this is for all of the residents. Please make sure you have batteries in your carbon monoxide detector and your smoke detector. It could save your life. Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, just like everybody else here. And I'd like to also thank our city manager, Rodney Tonelli, and our finance director, Kevin Singh, for the last 5 or 6 months that they've worked with the rest of the city staff. That I'd like to thank the heads of the departments who put all the time in so we could have a budget that we could approve. And thank you for your work. That's it.
Done. Okay, just a couple business things. Allison, I've been getting emails from the people that live out by Caton Farm in Drodden, and I guess it's been a nightmare for those guys. I do have a phone number if you want to talk with those folks, or how do you want me to handle this?
Yes, and just that project is wrapping up. We had a delay because we were waiting for some approvals from ComEd so that we could finish it. So that was unfortunately why that project took so long to finish. There was a water main break over the weekend that I know exacerbated the issue, but that's basically the reason why we're doing this project, is so that we don't have those water main breaks in the future. So I can take any numbers to call residents, but the major message is that project is going to wrap up in the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Mm-hmm. Can I hold you to that?
I'll say weather dependent. But
okay. Before Christmas, how's that?
Yeah, before Christmas.
Okay, I can use that. And then I know we've been discussing the parking situation downtown Joliet, but people are still putting money in the meters after 5 o'clock because there is no information up there that says you do not have to feed the meters. And I'm baffled by that because we've been discussing this for weeks now and there's still no signage there. So every time I see somebody said, don't feed the meters, you don't have to after 5. And with that being said, I'd like to wish everybody a happy, safe, be well Thanksgiving. Make sure that turkey is cooked. You don't want any raw turkey. And it's a big celebration in our house because it will be the first year we have a new baby in 30 years. So we're very thankful for everybody and being in health, and so good health to all of you. Thank you.
Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Well, Thanksgiving has always been my favorite holiday. Maybe not when I was 5, I'm sure Christmas. But I just love sitting down and enjoying friends and family at a nice meal. And I know we all have many blessings to be thankful for. So let's take that time and think about those blessings and enjoy your friends and your family. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. I just have a couple of business comments I'd like to make, and then we'll go to Thanksgiving also. But the Chief Evans and I met with High Point, which is a LiDAR camera system that detects trucks that are on the wrong roads. They're designing a portable system that we're going to try out, that we can move, we can get more than one, but it's going to help us to try and police some of the roads like the Rowell Avenues and places where the trucks aren't supposed to be. And if we can start getting the word out like Janet told us tonight, we think we can start to curb some of the use on the roads where they shouldn't be. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good program. Chief, have we gotten any proposal back from them yet? Okay. But we are working on that. Something else that came up tonight is the air quality of our community. And I think that we need to really address that. And I'm not sure who on the staff would be able to do that, but it's time that we figure out what is the air we're breathing based on the exhaust of the semis and stuff that are in our area. Who would I talk to about that? We'll figure it out. Okay, well, I really want to get on that. I think it's very important. I was just in Florida not long ago. You don't feel the salt in the air, but you see the corrosion on everything. And I thought to myself, well, what's in our air that's doing things to us that we don't know about? So I think that's a really important thing that we'll push into. And we had another tour of the vape shops. We got 4 cited for their first times. Nobody for a second time. I think they're all starting to figure it out, but every couple of weeks we're going out to visit to make sure that we don't sell anything to underage people, and we're starting to get a handle on that, so we're glad of that. Rod mentioned the Light Up the Holidays. Rod mentioned the prison being brought into the National Historical Society, which is really a good thing. Mr. Johnson, we wish you a lot of success, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help you make that happen. That's really great what you're doing, and we appreciate the efforts and the passion you have for that. There's nothing that stops passion. Really appreciate what you're doing. And lastly, at this time of Thanksgiving, I am most grateful, and I think we all are here, to be able to serve this wonderful community. You know, we're thankful for all the things that we have. We're grateful. It's a time for faith, family, friends. We got to remember those that are less fortunate than we are right now to make sure we can help them when needed. And that isn't just for this one time. This is 365 days a year. We all that are more fortunate temporarily need to remember those that are less fortunate temporarily so we can help them. And we are in the greatest country in the world to this day, and I'm sure that we're going to be the greatest city in the country. Well, let's not stop at Illinois. So thank you all, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you.
I did receive a request for closed session. Is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, after which the meeting will be adjourned?
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded to approve. Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.